Well, it seems like a lot of people took notice to our Florida video yesterday and the earthquake situation taking place in that area. And I gotta say, it has not stopped. We have even more earthquakes in the past 24 hours, specifically with reports of people talking about how intense these things are. This one resident claiming he's convinced it was a 5.0 that he felt. And then right underneath that, you could see someone claiming that they felt a 3.7. Now, I'm not sure where they're getting these numbers from, but you definitely do not see people putting reports out of earthquakes of this size or explaining what they're doing to themselves or their houses or what's going on around them. Like, this does not happen often. This is a very interesting situation we are currently going through right now, and this is now day 2. So once again, my friends, it is 1:11 p.m. and we are going to break this all down right here, right now. Let's go. Alright everybody, so yesterday we did discuss a few earthquakes that took place in Florida that some people claimed were some of the scariest things they've ever been through. That right there caught my attention and I knew I had to report on this, and now seeing just one more day later the amount of earthquakes that have taken place since then, I mean, there's got to be something going on. There's got to be something triggering these earthquakes, and it doesn't look like it's the sun. The sun's been fairly quiet. Now I do have to point out that big coronal hole you see at the southern edge of the sun does produce solar wind. Almost think of it as a hole in the sun that is allowing that solar wind to come out and face Earth. So it is a possibility that the extra stress on the Earth's magnetic field due to those solar particles could be in turn maybe aiding along the fact that we're seeing earthquakes in Florida, but I think it's something other than that. In the previous video, which I highly recommend you watch, I'll leave the link in the description box. We made this yesterday. We had 2 very large earthquakes near Central America, one in Panama and then one off the coast just a few days before that. So the one in Panama was a near 7.1 earthquake, and my theory was that some sort of pressure was being pushed up this fault line and then somehow connected to the fault line that crosses Guatemala, kind of skirts along Honduras, and then goes into the Caribbean Sea where it goes above Jamaica and then Dominican Republic, and then we get this big bulk of earthquakes, a big swarm around Puerto Rico. Now that's not uncommon. We do get a lot of earthquakes in Puerto Rico, but lately the swarms have been getting bigger and bigger. And again, this could be aiding or causing some sort of pressure from 2 different areas. We could be getting pressure coming from these 2 large earthquakes moving in an upward direction. And at the same time, with everything going on in Puerto Rico, and in some cases, a lot of these islands once being one big landmass, we may be seeing some sort of effect on the state of Florida itself. Now, of course, that is one theory. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm saying it's a possibility because we just don't get these rare earthquakes in Florida this often. There's something going on. Now, also back on October 10th, we had a rare earthquake take place in the Gulf of Mexico. This was on 10/10, and it was a 4.5. I believe we did a video on this, but at the same time, thinking about how close in proximity it is to Florida, there could be something going on in the Gulf as a whole, considering that this earthquake took place this month, in fact, 13 days ago. What if something is taking place in the Gulf of Mexico that could be influencing earthquakes in Florida? Because now some of the new earthquakes in Florida we've discovered, as we look at the last 7 days, have been in the water, especially this one here near the Keys. This was 6 days ago, but it just makes me wonder that if this thing was down so far south, could it have anything to do with what happened with the earthquake from October 10th, the 4.5 that happened over here? Now, it could be nothing at all, it could be something, but the point of the matter, my friends, is that we are seeing multiple earthquakes in Florida that we do not usually see. This is a 7-day period now. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 earthquakes that are being reported. That does not mean there haven't been more. These are just people that have reported these earthquakes, and it's starting to really get my attention. And I can see in the comments section a lot of people reached out telling me they felt these earthquakes and that these were not sonic booms or anything like that. A lot of people talking about tunnels and all sorts of crazy theories, but anything at this point is not a crazy theory. We need to figure out what's going on because just like we studied the big grouping and swarms in South Carolina, and then we had a very big swarm that took place in Massachusetts, which you can still see going on right now, we've had a lot of earthquake activity taking place on the eastern half of the United States. And that is not by coincidence. We are certainly going to keep an eye on this situation, especially if we start seeing or continue to see more Florida earthquakes. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be focusing on the other swarms around the eastern half of the United States. I have plenty of videos in the works for those as well. There is just only so much time in a day, and I try to get the best content out to you as possible so we can all understand or at least have an idea about what's going on here. But with that said, my friends, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope you had a great weekend. I'll meet you back here either later on today or tomorrow. Shout out to Canada, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.